question for you. Why stimulus payments? Why? Why are we doing that? Why is that something that we're doing? That's what I want to talk about today on the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of June of 2021. Sorry, got wrong information in my notes. My fault. I do my own notes, so it's my fault. Thanks to everybody who's here on Rumble, on the podcast, on YouTube, wherever you happen to be coming from. Thanks for coming aboard today. And the question that I would ask you at this point in time is, why stimulus payments? Why are we doing that? And I want to start, okay? I want to start by talking about something that I think a lot of people have said, but this to me has to be done in order to tie things together, okay? I have to ask you what exactly stimulus payments are. What are stimulus payments? And you're thinking to yourself, well, duh, this is where the government gives us money because we've been put out for some cause as a result of trying to bolster the economy. But my question to you is that really what's going on? And the answer to that question in my mind is, well, actually, no, that's not what's going on. Stimulus payments, like taxation, is the redistribution of wealth. That's what they are. I'm going to go ahead and go through my notes real quick, and we'll look at that. But I want to sort of tie all of this together, like I say. I've seen people hinting at this, but I have to ask the question: why the government stimulus checks? I'm sorry, I had to look at my notes to see exactly what I'd said. That's also true for augmented unemployment benefits. Look, the fact is, if the government can pay people enough to be idle, it'll mean if folks want to go to work, they'll have to pay more. Sadly, though, those doing the arm bending have forgotten one very important thing. What's that? Their actions cannot help but result in massive inflation. Since government doesn't control prices, they can only rise to meet the increase in pay going to producing employees, to people who are working. Okay, but let's start out at the beginning. The fact is, when you give people stimulus money, whether it's for unemployment or it's because they've been put out of work or whatever it is, whatever the case, and this is me too, right? I'm talking about myself when I talk about this. When you give them that money, you are taking money from somewhere else. Dan Bongino is fond of pointing out, as many others are, as I know Thomas Sowell has pointed out any number of times, look, government gets money from just a few places. It taxes people, it borrows money, or it prints money. And each one of these is problematic because it makes it so that people who are working get less money. People who can afford to pay taxes get less money, right? If they print money, it means whatever money is out there in the market is worth less by however much the money is printed. So if you double the money supply, that loaf of bread that was worth $1 is now ostensibly worth $2, right? This is how that works. If you take loans, and those have to be paid back or at least serviced, but really ultimately they're supposed to be paid back in the course of time, just like as if you took a loan, you would expect to pay the loan back in the course of time. My mortgage is not going to stay out there forever. Sooner or later I'm going to pay it off and it's going to be gone, and that's going to be the result of my putting the necessary money into that mortgage to pay it off. That's what it's about. Some things obviously you never pay off, you just pay them as they go, but those aren't loans, right? This is fees for services. And of course, the third thing that we can do, we've done the printing money thing, we've done the take loans thing. The third thing that we can do is tax people. And that's present or future, that tax people in order to pay for what we've taken out in money. And the thing is, if it's future, it's really print money and then tax people. Or print money and take loans, right? If it's future, that we're in the future kicking the can down the road, that's what's going to happen. Right, so you have to take that in mind as the first thing. But here's the question. What were the people who were thinking about stimulus payments thinking about when they did so? The argument is for a lot of people, well, they're just trying to bolster the economy. Well, government really doesn't do that. Let me just make this plain to you. If they give money to people, the people spend money, but unless people are willing to go to work, it doesn't matter that they spend money, because the people out there making things still don't have enough people, or serving things, or making services, doing services, or whatever, don't have enough people out there to fulfill what it is that people are asking for, to the point where lumber is sky high at the moment and building is extremely expensive, right? So you can say that that's what that's for, but I don't think that's fair. And I'll go a step further. I think that people thought, hey, you want to find a way to raise prices or raise wages that people can't really avoid? How about we make it so that in order to entice people into the workplace, you have to pay them this huge amount of money? And here's what they forgot about that. So what am I saying? Just to be clear, just to make sure that I'm clear on this. What am I saying? I'm saying that there are people out there who I believe have it in mind that they can increase wages by making it so that people can work or not work and make enough money to make it so that the wages they would have made if they went to work are not high enough to entice them back into the marketplace. And this is a way to drive up wages, right? There's a way to drive up wages without driving up prices. It seems sensible, but it's not. And the reason it's not is when you drive up wages, you drive up costs. When you drive up costs, you drive up, yes, boys and girls, you guessed it, prices. When you drive up prices, what have you got? Well, everybody is pretty clear on that. The answer is inflation. The fact that wages go up and then prices go up to correspond to the wages that went up means that you're going to end up with inflation. It's virtually unavoidable. And this is what you need to understand. Okay, so if I'm right, and I'll just tell you something, this is pure conjecture on my part. Do I know why they're doing what they're doing? Maybe they really believe modern monetary theory and the various things that are associated with that. We'll just print more money. Maybe they do. I'd be somewhat surprised, since anybody who's been around for any length of time knows very well what the result of that is, and they don't have to go look at the United States in order to see it. They can look all over the world. They can look at inflation rates gone rampant in other countries, and they can see that the result is as your cost of labor goes up, your prices go up. So your cost of labor goes up, so your wages go up. So your cost of production goes up. Well, of course, your prices go up. So as your prices go up, your money is worth less. And again, if people are doing things like retirement and they're trying to survive in retirement, now they're eating dog food because they can't afford to live. What drives up costs is things like people driving up wages, is things like resources becoming more scarce, both of which will happen in the current circumstances. What happens to people who have saved what they thought was enough money to retire on? Well, they don't have enough money to retire, and guess what? That means that those people often end up in the workforce, which means you have, quote, higher unemployment as a result of the fact that older folks are coming back into the workforce in order to try and survive because their retirement is no longer getting it for them. And I've known people who were already in that state, and the last time I saw this, funnily enough, was in the Obama White House. Yes, that's right. This has happened before recently in different ways, and when it happened, it was on Mr. Obama's watch. Okay, this didn't happen on Mr. Trump's watch in the same way, though it started to. You can argue that it started to. That's a fair statement. That the COVID crisis, the COVID pandemic, did in fact push things up. So, but here's the point, and here's what I'm trying to get across to you. Look, if you find a way to artificially drive up wages, it will drive up production costs. There's no avoiding it, okay? And that will drive up prices. And that will mean that even though you've managed to drive up wages, you've managed basically nothing, because inflation will make the money worth less. So a person who was making $7 an hour will now be making the equivalent of $7 an hour when they're making $15 or $16 an hour. The point of all of this is really very simple. I believe that at least in part, what happened is what we've seen is that people have tried to push up the wages of folks, and as a result of pushing up wages, it's pushed up production costs, and as a result of production costs going up, of course, the cost of the goods being sold on the market has gone up to match. This is what I believe is going on. Can I prove this? No, I can't prove this. but this is what I believe. You'll have to forgive me today. I didn't quite get where I thought I did with my notes and so forth, so I'm kind of skipping back and forth between things. But I need to go ahead and wrap this up, obviously, because I'm over 10 minutes. And again, this is one of those things that I could talk on for a very long time. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and close out now so that you can get back to your day. This has been the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I am Kurt. I am your host, and today is Tuesday, the 1st of June of 2021. That means tomorrow will be Wednesday, the 2nd of June of 2021. Thank you for everybody who's been here on Rumble, on the podcast, on YouTube, or wherever else you happen to have come from. Remember, Rumble is my preferred platform. I like it best, and frankly, I get more interaction there than just about anywhere else as well. Keep in mind that you can like or dislike my videos on YouTube. You can also positive or negative rumble my videos on Rumble, and hit the boxing glove if you don't see any other way to do it. And if you want to, you can comment on anything that I say, and you can tell me why I'm lame and stupid, which I'm sure at times you're going to find that I really need to consider something, and I'm willing to do that. Hope you're doing well today. Hope things are going well for you. Today is, as I say, Tuesday. That means we're moving ever more quickly towards the middle of the week. Very soon I should be back to my day gig, so hopefully things will work out well there, and I'll still be able to get my videos in process as well. But as I say, I hope you're doing well today, and hopefully we'll see you again on tomorrow's Daily Summation. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Tuesday, the 1st of June, 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.